Sophie, till late in the third quarter, you guys were struggling offensively in that frame. The second half in general didn't feel the same as the first half on that end. Did something change for you guys? What you see as kind of leading to stalling on that end?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of slow, and every time that we're slow, especially defensively, it just somehow affects our offense.
Sophie Cunningham did not hold back after this one, and honestly, she had every reason not to. The Indiana Fever just blew a game they should have won, falling 88-84 against the Washington Mystics, a team sitting at the bottom of the standings. Indiana led by double digits. They even had control at halftime. But then, the Mystics went on a brutal 22-7 run that flipped the entire game upside down. With playoff positioning on the line, this loss hurts, dropping the Fever to 7th place. And Sophie Cunningham's post-game reaction? Pure fire. We're going to break down exactly what she said and why her words
above her head is Cunningham with a steal. Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in.
They had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they were reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down. Now Sims launches ahead for Mitchell. What a pass by Odyssey Sims.
Indiana looked like they were cruising, building a solid 13-point lead in the second quarter, up 40-27. At that moment, it felt like the Fever had full control. But then, almost instantly, everything changed. Washington came storming back with a 22-7 run that erased the lead and completely silenced the crowd. Suddenly, the Mystics were playing with confidence. They were shooting 52% from the field, draining clutch.
Playing for the Buckeyes.
Here is the Buckeye product on the backdoor pass, but Mitchell lost the handle. Sutton thought about the three, steps in, Hull got a piece. Dolson has been wide open on possession, splashes home a three, and we are level at 47.
And that swing? It wasn't fueled by some unstoppable star on the other side. It came from the Fever simply losing their grip. Crucial turnovers started piling up. Defensive breakdowns? Constant. And Indiana committed 21 fouls, handing Washington 26 free throw attempts. Every careless pass, every late rotation, it all added up, play by play, until the lead was gone. And let's be clear, the problem wasn't bad officiating.
Sims with 5 off the bench. Indiana has 8 first-quarter bench points. That's typically been a strength when they're playing well, as Irvin just bullies her way inside. Now Citron being guarded by Lexi Hull. Hull goes over the screen, defends her really well. Citron just has to fire it up, and a circus shot for Citron.
Adding to the frustration, it wasn't veterans or superstars who made Indiana pay. It was Washington's all-star rookies. Sonia Citron played like a seasoned pro. Cool, unshaken, dropping 21 points. Kiki Arifin powered her way to 18 points and 12 rebounds, including second-chance boards that completely flipped the momentum. And this wasn't just empty stat padding. This was proof. When Indiana stopped dictating the game, even a young team still figuring itself out could come in and take over. Tease not like Indiana didn't have standout performances to lean on. Aaliyah Boston was a force inside, dropping 20 points and pulling down 9 rebounds. Exactly the kind of steady, elite production that should anchor a win. Kelsey Mitchell facilitated well early. Sophie Cunningham brought the energy. And Lexi Hull delivered on defense. The core players worked. They hustled. They didn't quit. And that's what makes this loss sting even more. This collapse wasn't about effort. It wasn't about heart. It was about the absence of...
Hull gets it into Boston. Hand off Mitchell. Indiana has to hurry. Lob back for Boston. Boston finishes. It's a 2-point game, 5.9 seconds remaining.
The reality is simple. Indiana didn't lose this game because Washington was the better team. They lost it by giving away steady possessions, by letting the Mystics control the tempo, and by never finding a counter once the momentum shifted. And that pattern? It's haunted the Fever all season. Strong stretches, full of promise, keep collapsing under the weight of preventable mistakes. Every time this team takes a step forward, careless decisions and missed adjustments pull them right back down. But unlike early
Cunningham looking, finds Mitchell, launches a corner three, it won't go, rebound Ainxler, and this young Washington Mystics group who continues to impress throughout this season, and Sidney Johnson in his first year comes up with a big win on the road.
Which brings us to the pressing question. Why was there no plan to protect the lead once it started slipping? When the entire building could feel the momentum shifting, who was responsible for steadying the team? For making the right rotations? For calling the counter that could have stopped the bleeding? The answers all point in one direction. And
yeah, I think we over-dribbled at times. Our off-ball movement wasn't there. We did a lot of standing. It's almost like we gave the ball to Kelsey and just tried to watch her work. And that's not when we're at our best. I mean, yes, certainly we want to have the ball in our hands, but we've got to continue to get movement with and without the basketball. It was getting stuck. I mean, we want to play 0.5 to 1 second basketball, and we weren't. And it's got to get moving. And
Stephanie White's coaching decisions are under the microscope after this loss, and no move has drawn more heat than the complete absence of Khloe Bibby from the floor. Bibby is shooting 42% from 3 this season. Yet in a game where Indiana's spacing vanished and perimeter shooting went cold, she logged 0 minutes. When pressed post-game, White explained the decision came down to defensive matchups, specifically concerns about rebounding and coverage against Washington's bigger lineups. That's the official reasoning, but when you look at how the game actually unfolded, Indiana gave up 26 free throws, allowed wide-open threes, and let Kiki Iriefin dominate the paint. So fans are asking the obvious question. If the defensive issues happened anyway, why was your best floor spacer?
With Khloe Bibby tonight, were there thoughts maybe plugging her in to try and spark the offense a little bit, or what was the decision behind not playing her?
yeah, there were some thoughts. I think that it matched up defensively more than anything with the way that we were going to try to play them, or in some of our switches and things like that. So that was mostly the reason.
And then just with the rotation, was it just those eight or seven that you ran with? Was it just they were flowing well and you wanted to just leave that going, or what was the thought there?
Yeah, I think some of it was defense. Being able to execute the type of defensive coverages that we wanted to have against this, the way that they play.
After the game, White admitted Indiana's offense was getting stuck. Too often, possessions boiled down to giving Kelsey Mitchell the ball and watching her battle multiple defenders. That phrase, getting stuck, quickly became the rallying cry of the night, because it perfectly sums up what fans saw live. When your offense falls into predictable isolation plays, the obvious counter is to space the floor with shooters like Khloe Bibby. But instead,
and the result was strain without support.
It hurts. I mean, I think we had 8 turnovers for 13 points in the second half as well. So we didn't take care of it.
The numbers tell the story. Kelsey Mitchell finished 6 for 9 from the field, putting up 14 points and dishing out 9 assists. She created opportunities, no doubt, but she was asked to carry way too much, both as a scorer and the primary playmaker. Late in the game, several possessions ended with her driving into crowded lanes, taking contested shots while shooters stayed wide open on the perimeter. Now, this isn't a knock on Mitchell's decision-making. She produced under heavy pressure, but it's hard.
And I think it was something like a 22-7 run, the end of the second, beginning of the third quarter. And those are hard to recover from when anytime really, but when you're missing pieces. And we've got to make sure that we're sharper at times. We don't have the margin to have lulls within quarters. And then I believe they had something like 21 points from free throw line and turnovers of their 26 in the fourth. And we control that, defending without fouling. We control that, taking care of the basketball, decision making at times. And some of it's playing some people out of position, and some of it's just not being valuing the basketball in the way that we need to value it, being a little sloppy with it.